It's Madden NFL 23, and we'll be watching the Falcons' creative quarterback. He had a solid performance a week ago, throwing for 3 touchdowns. It's the Falcons and the Vikings. All that and more coming up next on EA Sports.
We are pleased as always to be bringing you coverage of the National Football League on EA Sports. Today it's week 4 and we've got what should be a great one here between the Minnesota Vikings and the Atlanta Falcons. Hello again, everyone. Brandon Gordon alongside the one and only Charles Davis. And CD, lots of compelling storylines in a game like this. Let's take a look at some of the numbers for these two offenses.
And I'm glad you brought up the numbers because sometimes it's hard to quantify a team's performance solely by judging the numbers. But I think with these two teams, what you see is a pretty accurate representation of who they are.
So here come the Falcons now to get the football for the first time. And they'll be led out by a guy who has a couple years under his belt in the NFL, their third-year quarterback.
And he's been playing at an elite level here in this early half of the season. Tops in the league in touchdown passes at this point. This is definitely a wide-open offense, and we'll see if he can keep his string of good games going right here.
They'll come out throwing here to start the drive. Targeting Pitts on the out route, and he's got it complete. And he'll get this up past the 25 before he's out of bounds. The game's for... is 6 yards, brings up second down. They'll drop to throw. This one complete to Scott Miller. That one a first down pickup of 8.
A little football 101 there. You just see the receiver trying to run down the defender, meaning he goes right at it, and really trying to move him a little bit towards the center of the field so he can put his foot in the ground and break to the out, to the sideline.
The Vikings after him, and they get there for the sack. Andrew Booth getting sent in on the corner blitz and getting home.
And this is what you've got to do against a quarterback like him. You've got to keep him in the pocket and not let him get to the perimeter, because once he gets outside, that's where he can really hurt you.
Alert! Alert!
Back to throw here. They'll find Miller. That's complete. So they'll get 8 out of that completion. And that brings up third and a full 10 yards. Back to throw. Going deep this time for Miller. And that nearly intercepted. Boy, for a guy known for his hands defensively, that's a ball he probably thinks he should have come up with. And instead, it's 4th down. On is the punter Scott here as he gets this one away. And this one hits at the 1, continues on into the end zone for a touchback. So here come the Vikings as they get set for their first drive. And they'll be led out by their third-year quarterback.
And what I loved about meeting with him before the game was talking to a guy who takes ownership of his performance. 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions last week, but all he focused on was the loss, okay? And he did say, if I change my stats a little bit, not necessarily for me to look better, but that'll help my team.
That's a good way to start the drive. 17 yards and a first down.
There's plenty of real estate for him to maneuver on that run, and let's face it, it shouldn't be a surprise. He's one of the better backs in the league. Had to come into this game with the idea, slow him down, otherwise it's going to be a long afternoon.
They'll give him 4 yards there, and that'll make it second down. The Vikings are 1-2 through the first 3 weeks of the season. And they got off to a good start, but then 2 straight losses since.
And now you start to wonder about what this does for a team's morale, how it affects their psyche, because, let's face it, you work all summer pointing toward that opening game, you get the win, but then you don't carry it on from there. How will they bounce back from these losses and try and get right?
He'll rifle this one deep right side. That's going to be knocked away and incomplete.
This is going to be the matchup to watch out on the perimeter. It won't be the last time these two go at it. Both of them believe they are the superior. In this case, the win goes to the defense.
That's caught by the big tight end, T.J. Hockenson. And that's going to be good for another first down as the tackle's made at the Falcons' 33. That'll be marked as a 27-yard pickup. From Falcon territory now, here's 1st and 10, down at the 33. Again, he'll drop to throw. Looks again for T.J. Hockenson, and he's got him again. And he'll be brought down at about the 23-yard line. Good job there to locate his tight end, Charles, in the middle of the field.
Yeah, he has good pass-catching abilities, and if they're able to continue to find him here in the early going, I think it'll help out his teammates out on the perimeter. You can take the big shots later if he occupies their attention.
10 yards, and it's good for a Viking first down. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script. You go through your play calling. You go through all the stuff and establish.
And this is going to be intercepted. And the Falcons are going to take over at their own 2-yard line.
Partner, there's no other way you could describe it because that was absolutely just gut-wrenching for that offense. They were right on the precipice. Points were available. All they had to do was just fall forward, and they were going to put them up on the board. Instead, a long drive ends in heartbreak and a melancholy trip back to the drawing board. I like it when I go a little bit lyrical for you.
Here's a play fake as they set up to throw. Nothing open downfield, so he'll throw it away. He had no options downfield there and just chucked it out of bounds.
There was no one open. He was in the pocket. Where was the intentional grounding call?
Oh, you wanted the flag.
Of course I did. I'm a defensive guy. You know that. Where was the flag? The officials point out that someone was in the area. He got away with one.
They were ahead of schedule after the gain of 7 on first down, but the defense does not budge on 2nd and 3rd. So from their own end zone.